Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting Lyons Den. I'm She. First of all, I just want to apologise that it's been such a long time. Well, it feels like it's been such a long time since the last video. As you may or not know, if you follow me on Instagram, you might be aware that I returned back to work full time. I'd been off since the beginning of the year because of a mental health breakdown, and it's been tough, it has, but I thought that it might be best to go back to work. I've got a lot of restrictions. I'm not allowed contact with members of the public. I'm not allowed to engage with a lot of things at the moment. But I think in the sort of balance of what might be best, it's just, I just thought it's probably best that I just go into work a try, because being off hasn't been helping. As you know, that there's been 3 serious incidences while I was off, and yeah, I'm only here because I've got family that just, I'm lucky enough to have family that don't give up. So I started back at work, and I've just done typical me, where I started with a couple of hours and then went, I can do this, let's go. And I've just gone smash straight into full-on days again. So being able to post and respond and things, it has been a little bit more challenging, because obviously I've still got my home life, my child, I have to look after him, but I'm trying. I want to keep creating things and sharing them with you, because it gives me such a nice sense of satisfaction whenever I feel like I've helped someone. I guess that's why I do my job that I do, because I want to help people. I wanted to talk a little bit about the NHS mental health services. So today has been a difficult day. Since the beginning of the year, when I had my first attempt, they've been saying that I need to have dialectical behaviour therapy. It's the only proven therapy that's shown to actually make a difference for people that suffer from borderline or emotionally unstable personality disorder. They're the same thing, it's just 2 different names. So DBT is the thing that's highly recommended. It is the #1 go-to treatment, so to speak, for borderlines. I was told it would start in May, it didn't. Then it was June, July, August, and it just kept, every time it was just another letdown, that it's not going to happen. We had to fight, like my husband had to literally be on the phone to them, constantly going, what are you doing for this person? This person is really unwell. They are making active attempts to end their life, and they're being stopped by family members. But what are you doing as the mental health service? What are you doing for them? Nothing. It took them months to even issue a care coordinator, who, it could be better. There's not a lot they can do, in fairness, except for how you feeling today and blah blah blah, I guess. But there's been nothing. Every time that course, the dates were given, it'll be then, and then it hasn't happened. There's been another blow, and it just feels like another letdown. I think it's hard enough for people to ask for help, and there's all this, so much push for it's okay not to be okay. But then when you actually go, yeah, I'm not okay, then what? You're just left there. It takes a lot to admit that you're not okay, and then you sort of expect there to be a response, that people go, right, okay, you're not okay, let's help you, and there just hasn't been. So I've had conversations with the psychologists and the managers of the local community mental health team, saying, don't worry, you're on this course, it's happening, and that was told to me, it's going to happen in August, don't you worry, I'm so sorry for all the letdowns. And then it didn't happen, and then I was told Christmas, and then my husband called them and was like, this is just not good enough, you can't keep doing this to her. One of the provisions for me returning to work was that I'd have DBT therapy before I come back, but we arranged it that if I had no contact with members of the public, then it's relatively low risk me going back without DBT. But so then I was told October, I was given a date, issued my letter, everything, and then today I get a phone call, due to start next week, going, yeah, sorry, but we can't go ahead with this and we can't give you a date because we just don't have staffing levels. So we can't run the course and we can't tell you when it's going to happen. So unfortunately, you just got to wait. Like, that's not good enough. That's not good enough when someone wakes up feeling the way that I and many other people do. What are they there for? Like, what are they doing? And I'd really like to hear your experiences about like specifically the NHS mental health. What has helped, and if they haven't helped you, who has? Because I mean, I'm not slating the entire NHS. They are fantastic. They do such a good job, and I'm an advocate for them. You know, being public sector myself and public service, like, yeah, I know how difficult it is, and they do a fantastic job, but they are failing. They are failing within the mental health sector, and nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. From family experiences as well, I had a family member complete suicide, and they literally told them before they were released from that unit, if you release me, I'm going to do it. They weren't listened to, and now they're gone. I sat in coroner's court asking them, why did you release them? They specifically said to you that they were going to do that, so why would you release them? And they said, well, you know, a lot of people say that, but, and you know, then, you know, we couldn't keep an eye all the time, but if they're a risk, then what are you doing to mitigate that risk? Anyway, there's something that needs to change, and it's serious. It is, because a lot of people are unfortunately just not getting the help that they need, and all it does in the long run is cost more money. If it's a money saving thing, people going, being admitted into hospital, coming back out, the medications, everything, if we can treat it, look at the root causes and treat them, it's a cost reduction in the long run, isn't it? But yeah, that's my, like, just wanted to let it out. But if you have had experiences, let me know. Maybe we can find a way to sort of address this if it hasn't been done already, you know. So it takes a lot of voices for one message to be heard. So yeah, let me know. Anyway, on to what are we making today. So I thought what I could do was, I was going to show you a little spooky pot that I made, but I thought I'd leave that for next time instead. And what I do want to show is a technique that I just discovered while messing around with some resin. And what I'm going to show you is this. You see there, I call it the raindrop effect. It's because it actually looks like water has just been left there on the top, and you could almost, it's like you just want to go and wipe it off, but I assure you that's completely dry. And yeah, it's just an effect, and you can see, you can even have a look, it has like a, almost, depending on the angle you look at it, it looks concave or convex, like sticking out, just because of how the effect works. But yeah, so this was another random find, because I was being lazy and I was trying to get the last bit of resin to work. I was like spreading it out, and it clearly just didn't work. So then I ended up discovering that. Yeah, let me know what you think. As always, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Leave a comment, I'll get back to you. I'm so grateful for those that are sticking around. Yeah, I really do appreciate you, more than you know, honestly. Hope you enjoy. I'll see you next time. Bye. So I got this notebook mould and I thought I'd give it a go. I've made a couple of things and this was one of them. And I wanted to do a crow theme. If you've guessed that theme already, yay, you're my people. And so I chose this quote from the film, It Can't Rain All the Time, because I just thought that was quite fitting with the effect that we're doing. And I do love that film, so yeah. So I'm sticking that quote face down onto the mould. Because I don't want it to be moving around, because I'm going to be scraping it in a minute. I've got some clear resin here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some into the mould, but not enough for it to cover the entire surface area of the mould. So you can see there, I'm just sort of sprinkling it on or dripping it on all over in a way that's not going to make a layer on there. It's not actually thick enough to make a thin layer, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. It's not thick enough to be thin enough, if you get what I mean. So I'm just going to drip that on there. Not enough to fill it, basically, yeah. Once I've done that, I'm going to take my little spatula thing that I've got. This is a very handy tool. I highly, highly recommend them. And I'm just going to spread it out all over that mould. It doesn't really matter. There's no technique to this because it's not enough to cover it, so it's going to separate anyway. So I'm just trying to cover the whole thing. They're in a really tiny, tiny layer. And as you can see, it's already separating. I've left that to dry, and as you can see, how it's dried is like with little bumps, as if you spilt water on it. And that's exactly what we want for this. So it looks like spilt water there, and that's now dry. So I'm using a chameleon metallic pigment that we've used before, and I'm just brushing that over the entire thing. I started with one colour and then went, oh no, I've run out. So I then had to get a different colour and try and fill it in, because you want a decent liberal amount of powder all over it. There, you can see that one much better now. And just spreading it all over. When you do this, you have to be careful that you don't lift any of that resin off of the mould. Otherwise, if you do, it's not going to work. You need to keep that resin stuck down to the mould for this technique to work. Just filling up the back page there, covering all the spots. I'm awful when it comes to powder. I just chuck on so much and just cover it completely. I'm sure you could probably use less than this, but I just love it. I love it. So I've just spray it all over it. Once it's completely covered, I mixed up some black resin and just poured it straight on top. Again, this looks all so scary when you do it. It's like, can't see anything. But you just pour it in completely right to the top and then leave it to dry. And this is the piece is dried. And look at that. And that's just magic. Because of the black that we used in the background, those lumps haven't taken hold of the pigment, the chrome stuff, or the metallic stuff rather, and instead just leave a nice space. Like it's like you could look through that misty window in the rain. That's what I see when I look at it anyway. But I've then put it together and made a complete book, as you can see. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you do give it a thumbs up if you have, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.